else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Hold up.
Good afternoon. Welcome into On the Block here on 93.7 The Ticket. Whether you're listening in your car, on your desktop at theticketfm.com, or if you're tapped into the Sartor Heyman Jewelers video stream. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Wherever you're listening or watching, we appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in and being a blockhead with us. I'm Austin Norman. He's Eric Strickland. Full day of content over the next 2 hours for you. But first of all, need to let you know we are sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Stricky, you made it home last night.
Yeah.
You made it safe.
Yeah.
That means you can make it to Mary Ellen sometime this weekend.
Yes, that is the plan, but that won't be the plan, unfortunately. My little niece, Michaela will be having her birthday this weekend.
Oh, happy birthday
and
this weekend.
I told her Uncle Strick is going to come and celebrate it with her. My sister has a plan to do something quite unique. She's going to
Michaela, if you're listening, shut the radio off.
Well, she's in Dallas, so that's a good thing.
Okay.
So she's not tuned in. She's
she
at
can
school.
listen worldwide. Okay, good.
And she's not like the our guy.
Not Sebastian.
Not Sebastian. He's not like that listening in. She's gonna do like a little hibachi, like outside, and so the weather is not going to be good and conducive for it on Saturday. So she may shift it to Sunday. It's going to be about 70 degrees. So we'll do it probably that day. You know, it's everything from steak, shrimp, chicken, lobster, some scallops, and something else. So it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. Get a chance to hang out with the fam.
Absolutely. Safe travels down there this weekend. Still here on the block. We'll have you on Monday too, I believe. So
I'll be back.
Won't
Monday.
miss a day.
Yeah,
appreciate that. Busy day ahead on the show, like we said. What's on the block here today? We'll talk about the Nebraska basketball win by the women last night at Illinois. Big one.
Huge one
for the women.
That's good for
that
them.
one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dylan Raiola reportedly canceled his visit to Georgia.
Yeah.
We'll get into that a little bit. The football press conference yesterday. And also just some spring football quarterback battles across the country. There's a lot of interesting situations, especially with the transfer portal really heated up in a number of places. And then the 3 o'clock hour is going to be a lot of NBA. The second half gets underway tonight. All-Star break is over. Everyone's bodies should be back from vacation. We'll see if the minds are on the first day back. And Sed Sabalas on the show as well.
Yeah. So Sed we'll jump on. We'll probably have him a couple times a month, you know, definitely as we close out the NBA season, have some discussions with him. We'll tap into some of those NBA storylines when we get him on. Kind of get his feedback. He was there in Utah a little bit, probably about the All-Star game for him and what his thoughts are, what going forward. Also, the CBA has been extended to March 31st. We'll touch on that a little bit, what that means, what the possibility. I happen to be a part of a CBA negotiation where we ended up going to it was a lockout, and we held our ground, and we had half a season. So just kind of what that looks like. And I don't think we're there. And I think they're a little bit closer than what, probably we were back then. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll probably touch on a little bit of that too.
Good deal. So stay tuned for that in the 3 o'clock hour. But Strick, starting off here with the Nebraska women's basketball win, a 90-57 win for the women on top 25 Illinois on the road. Illinois came to Lincoln and beat Nebraska. This is big for revenge. And Strick, this is just a game the team needed. Had to find a way to get. It was going to be a challenge on the road. They made it look easy. They won every quarter, which to me tells me the team was playing consistently well all night. They shot it well from 3. Your stars showed up. For a team that needed this in the worst way, it probably couldn't have happened any better.
Yeah, no question. Jazz Shelley leading all 5 Huskers in double figures. They had multiple players, and this is probably one of the most consistent games, like you said, that they've played. Her 26 points, but even more is that she'd been struggling. So the fact that she was very efficient. Another thing that they've been struggling at is turnovers. So to only really have 10 turnovers as well. Izzy Bourne comes out big with a double-double with 16 and 13. So they improved to 15 and 13, only 7 and 10. They're gonna need it. They're gonna need to definitely win this last game. Senior night, they're gonna have to run it off and make a strong, long push. I mean, probably if they're gonna have any shot, they're gonna probably need to definitely get to the towards the final. I think being under 500 in Big Ten. They've got three quad one wins. Three wins over ranked opponents. I think Ohio State, Michigan, and
wasn't Kansas the first one?
Oh, Kansas too. So this is their fourth. Yeah. So they've got 4 of them, and that's good. I mean, you've got to look at the fact that they're playing consistently. They shot great in free throws.
Maryland
was the other one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they shot great. They struggled in top 15 teams. I mean, these teams have been in the lower tiers of the top 25. So yeah, we're hoping that they can put a nice run together and make a push at it. I mean, they got veteran leadership to do it. It's just a matter of them going out and doing it.
Is this a game, Strick, that you think could be a spark for this team, or is this kind of a last hurrah? They poured it all into this game. You hope to win at home on Senior Day, but this was just 4 games of frustration all let out at once.
Well, it can be. I think it can be a spark, but we'll find out against Northwestern, right? A team that you should beat. You should have this kind of dominant performance. Everything should remain consistent. If you can put two consistent games together, kind of rest, come back, get some work in, practice, head out to Minnesota, and then see what your matchups are going to be, and then go in there and let it roll. Literally, just get after it. Let the chips fall where they may. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they finish it out.
Senior Day for the Nebraska women's basketball team will be on Sunday, a 1:00 tip-off against Northwestern. Tickets available. Be there, support the Lady Huskers as they do make that postseason push. Turning our attention elsewhere in Husker land, let's go to the recruiting headline first, Strick. I haven't seen this confirmed, but there's rumor floating around the internet that Dylan Raiola, number 1 recruit, we know the name, we know who he is, reportedly canceled his visit to Georgia.
Wow.
What do you make of that?
That's huge. I mean, that's a top tier program. That's a national championship program. It's a program that has consistently been in the top of, college football, greats. Mm-hmm. And to pass that up regardless, that's huge. He still, got time in the process, but to not take that visit, that, I'm not going to put nothing on it crazy, but you've got to look at it. And this is important. This is an important year, not necessarily where you have to go out and go 10-2 or nothing like that, but this is an important year. If the Huskers want to, they've got an established relationship. They've got good inside roads. They know that there's going to be a quarterback need. So there's a place for him. I think they're going to have to show and prove that their specialties, the receivers are going to be, solid and good and make plays. Love to see that, the tight end group can also ramp up and be better. And if you could do that and show that you can move the ball and you can win some games and, make a good name for yourself for this upcoming season in your first year, you may have a shot. You may be in the mix.
Nebraska reportedly still in the mix with Oregon and USC, the other 2 teams. Of course, the Raiola family has its base in Arizona right now, so staying on the West Coast makes a lot of sense. Oregon, I still think, has some of that flash appeal, one of the headline programs, even if they haven't had the upper level elite success in a long time. I still feel like you hear Oregon, it's a brand. You get attention, you're going to be visible. And USC has probably the best quarterback whisperer of the last decade in Lincoln Riley out there right now. So 2 appealing options on the table. It's interesting. It would be interesting to know too, why, if it's true, Raiola did cancel his visit. Was it he's out on Georgia, or is it Georgia's out on him.
Yeah. Maybe he just doesn't feel comfortable, doesn't feel warm and fuzzy. We're only speculating. We can only speculate at this point. But I guess some of the discussions that are out there is that he feels good about what this place has to offer and bring. He hasn't been kicked out, as far as in his mind, still in the running. That is all you can ask for, right? So now you put out a product and go for it. Go shoot for the stars.
Absolutely. Continuing our kind of Nebraska shoot around here, we'll move to football. The press conference held yesterday. Donovan Raiola, Corey Campbell, and Rob Dvorak all talked yesterday. I want to start with what Corey Campbell had to say, Strick. And he mentioned that Coach Rule and himself were interested in getting a little more technology in the weight room, some workload monitors, some GPS trackers. And he also mentioned the importance of sleep and hydration. How important as an athlete are those things, and how important is it to not overlook them?
Well, they're really important. Also, your diet, the energy levels of a complete dietary, system. But one of the things I just loved about him is that he's very knowledgeable. He understands the science and what that all entails as far as bringing that in the weight room. He expresses a want and a desire to be on the cutting edge of everything in sports science. That's good. That's where I guess you come up with the Go Big project that they're trying to implement. But one of the things I love about what he has to say, and what Rule had to say about him, is Rule praised his versatility. His versatility that he's, brings with inclusion and physical therapists that they added with Matt Hobbs. And when you hear Campbell talk about that, he understands the staying in his lane and what he does and allowing those other individuals that he's incorporated into the system to be great at what they do. He expressed his first priority, when they arrive at Nebraska it's about, and you can see this collectively in the coaching staff as a whole, that they're talking about relationships and the importance of relationships and establishing rapport with all that come in. And so he basically said that regardless of how good his strength and conditioning program is, it doesn't mean anything without the players buying in. So, when they have discussions with each other, an understanding of what those young men want to accomplish, him understanding what he needs them to accomplish, and kind of mirroring and putting those two together to make the best out of them.
What was your relationship with your strength coach like here at Nebraska?
The relationships with the strength coach were always great. I mean, I was a naturally strong guy. So for me, I have a capability of bulking. So it was really getting with my strength and conditioning guys to understand, my body type, and really just about making it conditionally to keep lean, but not to over bulk. The strength was already there. Just work with that to kind of keep me lean and just prime for getting the job done on the court.
From your time at Nebraska to your time in the NBA, what was the difference between college and pro, conditioning and workouts? Did you see any changes? Was it pretty similar from Nebraska to the pros? What was the comparison there?
Well, Nebraska's program was top level at the time. And so that was always great. A lot of your strength and conditioning, like I literally had to, I wasn't LeBron-esque in paying $1 million to have it, but I had to pay, I paid some of my best seasons was when I had, my personal trainer that I was able to get with. And then what they do is, they work on maintaining and obviously the longevity, and it's just about recouping and keeping the muscles in the area strong so that you don't find any weaknesses in certain areas and the things that you're doing on the court. So, it's a little bit different. It's very much a lot of you. But then when you get with the team, then they get with you. Now, your development guys, they'll come and fly to you and they'll work you out, or they'll meet you in certain places. Like there's a group of us that would meet in LA, group of us that would meet in Houston. So sometimes they would fly and kind of get with us on that level, more with the development than the wait staff.
Is there anything that you see athletes do or use now in their training that you would have liked back in your playing days?
I mean, some of the stuff that they have is is phenomenal. I mean, I briefly talked about it some on the block, and like I said, certain injuries that we would have. I mean, we throw a little toe sleeve on, or like a mitten, and put our feet in cold buckets, and we had TENS machines that they allow us to take home and do different things like that. But the fact that you can get in pools now and run, so you don't have the stresses on the body that you would normally have in the recovery processes. There's different measurement tools now that you can use to specifically target certain things. So yeah, the technology is just way better.
We have that technology. We see them using it. Nebraska seems to be, trending that direction to using some of it. But Corey Campbell also said there's no substitute for strength and no reason for a lack of it. Pick up a 45-pound plate, put it on the bar, pick up a 45-pound dumbbell, move it. Why is Nebraska's strength program slipped if there's, no excuse to not be strong?
That's a question that hopefully we could maybe get him on the show and have the answer, because like you said, you've got to have a relationship with those young men, and it goes beyond encouragement. You can only want so much for a player. They've got to want it for themselves too, right? Mm-hmm. And what I've noticed in the former generations of them is that it was worked out by hierarchy. The hierarchy set the standard, and the young ones tried to measure up to the standard. Mm-hmm. So maybe if you have a group, it only takes a couple of, it's not generationally, but it takes a couple of teams to just kind of have lackluster or laziness or whatever, which then young players can watch and observe, and they just say it's just a go by to get by. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so that can happen.
Gotcha. Donovan Raiola also at the podium. He mentioned cross-training guys. He's been impressed with Ben Scott, the Arizona State transfer at center, but also mentioned he's training some other guys there, and he wants his guys to be versatile, to be able to play center, tackle, and guard. One example of that is, Nuri Niwili, who was left guard last time we saw him, is going to work at left tackle with Teddy Prohaska out. What in your mind is better, to specialize and be really good at one position, or to have that versatility where you can swing over in a pinch?
Versatility is always huge. I mean, just speaking on basketball terms, there are guys that they're specialty guys, they're defensive guys, they're just rebounding guys. They're, you can be great in doing that. We saw what that meant for like a Dennis Rodman and guys like that. But the more versatile you are, the more valuable you become. So the more that you can learn and be good at multiple positions. That means you have to be good at feet. You have to be good at leverage. You have to, there's a lot of different techniques that are different from each position. So the more that you can learn, the more versatile that you become, because think about it, in the NFL, you only have a certain amount of players that you can, put on roster. Right. Some you want to add more of. And, if you can have one or two linemen that can do two different or three different things, they're more valuable to you than one particular specialty guy.
Is it fair to say too that it's probably better to be versatile early in your career so you can find a way to stick and do more things, offer more, but then as you get older, is it more okay to specialize?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's okay to be good at it. I mean, if you're strictly a left tackle guy, and you're used to covering backside, there's things that technically wise that guys like to do with bull rushes. You kind of understand that. Guys that are speed rushers, guys that are very good at spinning and doing different things. You just have to be, you'll know coming off of that, it's different than you have an inside leverage with a center there, and being able to kind of bounce and just read different stunts, and it's just different, right? So yeah, I don't think it's a problem with it, but the more that you can be good at it, it helps.
For sure. One other thing that I want to touch on that Corey Campbell said here before we hit our first break, he said, when we look at developing athletes here, it's a holistic approach. It takes a village to train these athletes and get them to Saturdays and perform at a high level. I think that speaks to the versatility, right? A holistic approach, not just training one aspect of them. But he also said it takes a village. How many people give or take, does it take to train a football team or a basketball team in the weight room?
I mean, he
Dozens?
said it in himself. He said, I mean, it doesn't take a lot, but if you have other aspects of guys that focus on specific areas and specific things, it makes you able to be great at getting guys up to speed in one specific area where then you're not so, divergent on all kinds of different aspects of it. You're aware of them, but the better at letting people do what they do well. If you have a staff to do it, you have the means by which to do it. Go make it happen.
For sure. On the text line, anonymous texter says versatility is good, but he believes it depends on the player. If they can't handle the mental load of moving across positions, then you start just confusing them and then mistakes are made.
Yeah, that's true.
It makes sense. But here's the other thing. If you cross-train guys so they learn other positions, I feel like it helps them at their one specialized position, because if they know what everyone else is doing, they know all they have to do at their one position.
Well, let's just check it out for football. Just think about how versatile and a multifaceted infielder can be. Want somebody that doesn't just specialize at being great at the shortstop position, but can also go on the ends, those hot corners, and handle that. But then also, if you need him to, can shift over there and play first base if you need him to.
Right.
Just think about how valuable that is. So yeah, I still think that there's value in versatility, but don't take that away from them and let them be great at what they do and be great at it. But if you have it, it's good. It's good to have.
Sure. We have Cubsker and Kip on the text line asking NBA questions. Jack, I'm going to save those for hour 2 when we get into the NBA discussion. One about technicals and one about NBA travel. So let that percolate a little bit. Be thinking about that. Kip and Cubsker will answer those questions in the 3 o'clock hour. If you have any questions for Strick, Husker football, Husker basketball, NBA, spring football, anything like that, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you all show long. When we get back, we're going to talk about some spring football quarterback battles across the country. What are some of the more interesting battles? Who are some of the names to know across the country? We'll dive into that and what the ramifications are for those teams on the other side.
This is Megan Whitaker from the Nebraska golf team. If you put your clubs away for the winter, it's time to get back out. There's no need to stop. That's at Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle is home to Lincoln's best indoor golf simulators. It's perfect for every level of golfer, with everything from casual games for the kids to hyper-realistic simulations of some of the best courses in the world. And the best part, no matter what the weather's doing outside, it's always golf weather inside. See for yourself. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Sports Austerity.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff maybe you a wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial or residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post build, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to MWRbuilding.com.
Are you the same old entertainment about something that's truly fun for both kids and adults? Nebraska Knockerball, the new place to go to your private and corporate parties. Step inside one of their inflatable spears and let out stress in a healthy form of exercise. Or try the human foosball, foot darts, yard pong, giant beer pong, basketball Connect 4, and much more. Nebraska Knockerball, specializing in physical, engaging fun. Call Nebraska Knockerball today at 402-460-8724 to learn more or book a reservation now.
Max 10 for men. Bye-bye golfer lines and t-shirt 10s. Take it to the max at Max 10. Get a 30-day pass, just $25 with stand-ups and laydowns for men of stature. Be a Max 10 man. Get 30 days for just $25 now at all 4 Lincoln Max 10 locations.
New year means new goals and upgrading, but that doesn't only apply to health and fitness. Mullen Motors can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2023 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2022 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop Mullen's north of 48th and Lake.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our Peace of Mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 and the TicketFM.com.
We're 15 minutes away from playing the shootout with Strick. Big Ten Men's Basketball Players of the Year is the topic, so have that on your mind. Be ready to call in about 15 minutes. Now we're going back to the spring football conversation, taking a look around the country. It's some intriguing quarterback battles. And Strick, this is a list provided by the Sporting News. We'll touch on some of the ones that they think are the most interesting. Here's one that I could have, said without anyone pointing it out to me. Texas. Mm-hmm. You have Quinn Ewers, one of, like a handful of perfectly rated 5-star prospects in recruiting ranking history against maybe the most hyped quarterback recruit since Trevor Lawrence, at least, in Arch Manning. Mm-hmm. Quinn Ewers was fine last year, good at times, had a rough patch, but this is Arch Manning. He has that Manning last name. There's that Manning, clout and money behind the name. How do you see that situation at Texas?
Well, first of all, let's just talk about there's 3 perennial national championship contenders that are looking to, in some form or fashion, replace a quarterback in 2023. You have Georgia, you have Alabama, and you have Ohio State. That's first and foremost. But when you look at Quinn Ewers, like you said, not a bad year, 2,100 yards, had a little injury, 15 TDs, 6 interceptions in 10 games. Something unique about him, he has a strong arm. He can drop it on a dime. Only 58% that he was able to complete. 6-4 as a starter. But then, you look on the other hand, Manning has the pedigree. He has the name. 9,754 yards passing, 140 TDs in his 4 years as a starter. Of the Manning brothers, Peyton, did come in as a freshman and start. But let's just be real about it. It wasn't that he came in and took it. He only actually came in because Jerry Colquitt and Todd Helton had injuries. So that kind of thrust him into the mix of that. I think what you got to look at for this, you're going to look at Quinn Ewers is going to be QB1 to start off. The Alabama game, he played very well last year against them. Mm-hmm. They'll probably look at that game. That'll be a great evaluation point as to, how that's going to possibly go towards the end of that. But the pressure's on yours. The pressure's going to be on yours. I mean, Arch Manning's just going to be able to just come in and play relaxed and no expectations. Ultimately, all the expectations is on yours. It's his to lose.
I mostly agree. I won't say there's no pressure on Arch Manning though, because he's got that name to live up to. Even if he's good at handling and he has help from everyone in his family who's been through it, you're still the number one recruit. You're still going to Texas. The eyes of Texas, no theme song pun or no fight song pun intended, are going to be on you.
Yeah, I think from that standpoint, but I would push back a little to say, it's easier if you're kind of looking up as
Sure,
opposed to everybody looking up at you. I don't think.
Yeah, Manning's looking forward. Ewers is looking over his shoulder.
Yes, and it's no different than when I was playing in Dallas, where I was at. A lot of people don't know this. Like, it's crazy when I think about it, but I was the starter and Steve Nash was the backup to me, right? When I was in Dallas. So one of the things that was easy for them to do was to move me out of the way so that Steve is not looking over his shoulders. He can make mistakes. He can, it's easier when you don't have that same caliber of somebody coming behind you to, that coach can easily say Strick or somebody, or, that can come and fill that space without any worry of any loss. So that's the thing that makes it hard for someone like yours, is looking over shoulder.
Who's the Texas starting quarterback in 2024? Quinn Ewers or Arch Manning?
I think it's very possible that Arch Manning could be. I think then Quinn would be looking to move elsewhere, which anybody out there in the transfer portal, Quinn's not going to want to sit behind. He has aspirations, obviously, at the next level. He's not going to want to sit behind Arch Manning. I think Arch Manning will be okay for a year to kind of go in and evaluate, see how he is. He won't stay probably outside of his sophomore year. I don't think if it kind of gets to that situation, he may be looking to move elsewhere. One of them is going to be looking to move elsewhere if they ultimately do not live up to the expectations.
Going back to the Big Ten Conference for the next one at Wisconsin, they bring in 4 quarterbacks this offseason with the switch from, the power run game that they were so focused on for so long.
Who are we talking about?
Wisconsin.
Okay.
Over at up in Madison with Phil Longo there as the new offensive coordinator under Luke Fickell. They lose Graham Mertz to Florida. Maybe addition by subtraction. Graham Mertz wasn't always that good.
Great move for them, to move on from that.
Good for Graham Mertz. He gets better weather.
Yeah.
Play some SEC football, maybe, but probably better for Wisconsin. Graham Mertz was Graham Mertz. We'll just say that.
I'm pretty sure that Luke Fickell had a discussion with Graham Mertz coming in, and he was going to look to find his guy. And so you're going to have a battle there between Tanner Mordecai and Nick Evers. The Wisconsin's quarterbacks have not been good. I mean, 42 TDs with 31 interceptions over the course of that last 3 seasons. That's
Mertz's time those last 3 years.
Yeah. So, Fickell's quarterbacks, he's good. He's good at coaching up quarterbacks, as we know. He's put some in the NFL. His quarterbacks alone have amassed 72 TDs. I mean, literally have doubled that number almost. And so there's an improvement there. I think personally that Mordecai is not necessarily the guy that Fickell would be all in on. Maybe
not a Russell Wilson level transfer.
Just a stopgap, I think. I think he's kind of somebody, the offense is going to shift. It's going to change. It's not going to look like your typical Wisconsin offense of the past. But the one that I think to keep an eye on is Nick Evers. Watch how he develops and how Nick is able to, how Luke Fickell is able to really work with him and get him prepared. I think he may end up being the guy ultimately.
If Oklahoma wanted him, most places should want him to be a quarterback, plain and simple. Let's go to the SEC for the next couple. Tennessee, you lose Hendon Hooker. Unfortunate injury that he suffered. Would have loved to see how Tennessee's season would have finished if Hendon Hooker was able to be healthy. But his backup was former Michigan player Joe Milton, who transferred into Tennessee. He's battling an incoming freshman by the name of Nico Iamaleava, who only has one of the largest NIL deals in history. This is a guy that Tennessee, went hard after and got. There's a lot of money involved with Nico Iamaleava. Do you see Milton as another stopgap type guy, or do you think it'll take young Nico a year to get going?
Well, obviously the knock on Milton has been his accuracy, right? He's only completed 59% of his passes before transferring to Tennessee. I think that Milton, with his maturity, his abilities in other areas, will probably be the starter. I think they face off against Virginia in their first game. But Iamaleava is just way too talented. I mean, big arm, long. He's got pretty good legs. I think he's a good mixture to throw in if you can get him in early, just to kind of let him, get a good feel of SEC football. But that's going to be their guy ultimately. I do think Milton will probably lead the charge initially. It's so much to learn for a young man. We're going to test, they're going to test his IQ and see what he's got as far as learning and picking up, the offensive and the defensive schemes and go from there. But yeah, this young man is, he's a special talented. He's 6'6", 200 pounds. But like I said, with a new offensive coordinator, Joey Hazel, that's going to be something that they're going to have to keep an eye on. But Heupel is good. He's a former quarterback himself, so they'll make sure the young man's ready.
On the text line, real quick, Mask Texter asks, has Frost's old quarterback coach found a job yet? I assume referring to Mario Verduzco. If he has a job, it's not in football. Looked it up, not seeing anything on the football front from Mario Verduzco. Hope that answers that. And one more SEC quarterback battle to get to, Strick, is Ole Miss. One of the more fascinating QB rooms in the country, if you ask me, because you have Jackson Dart, who starts for Ole Miss last year. Good player, transferring in from USC. A lot of hype around him. Again, kind of fine. Good at times, up and down at times. Ole Miss really relied on the run game. 2 stud running backs. Jackson Dart was acceptable, adequate, not top shelf.
Right.
Then you add in 2 transfers, one from inside your conference in Walker Howard, who went to LSU, highly touted guy, didn't really see the field. The other is a longtime starter from Oklahoma State, Spencer Sanders, who is much more a run-first quarterback, a good enough passer, but Oklahoma State built a lot around his ability to run the ball, to take those hits in short yardage situations. I don't know what Lane Kiffin is doing, but I really don't know what Spencer Sanders is doing. Because to me, as a guy who's playing his last year of college football, he's third on this list, if you ask me.
Well, the crazy thing about it is, Walker Howard has more time. So the urgency really probably you got to be looking at Jackson Dart and Spencer Sanders ultimately. His record is pretty good. 31-12 over the course of himself being a starter, 85 TDs for the Cowboys. So he's not going to just lay down and give it up. So Walker Howard having a little bit more time, haven't, like you said, seen, but he could emerge. And like you said, that would be a travesty for Spencer Sanders in making that move over there, being that it is your last opportunity to find yourself in that kind of fight, that kind of battle in your last year. How do you want to go out? But spring football's coming up. I'm sure that there'll be an assessment done over that period of time. Unfortunately for Spencer Sanders, if he loses out in this and becomes the third guy, his best move is going to be, mid-major, less than Power 5, maybe to move over and kind of learn a system pretty quickly. Somebody that has a real special need because he can play.
He was very similar to Sean Clifford and Adrian Martinez in my head. Spencer Sanders was a guy that you know what you're going to get from him. Here's the last one with the spring quarterback battles then, Strick. Alabama looking for a quarterback, Georgia looking for a quarterback, Ohio State looking for a quarterback. Which of those races is most intriguing to you?
I would probably say, Milroe in Alabama got some time.
A little bit.
So he was very leg dominated, only averaging 8.5 yards per pass, 58%. He's not very consistent, but he's got great legs. That's not intriguing to me. It's just trying to figure out who's going to be able to run the ship for them. The one that's interesting to me is, who's going to follow up on Stetson Bennett. So it's going to be between Carson Beck, Brock Vandagriff, and Gunnar Stockton. That's going to be the most interesting for me. I think it's ultimately going to pan out to be maybe Beck or Vandagriff. They both showed great flashes in last year's spring game. But whoever wins out on that, there's going to probably be a move after this spring game for one of those two guys, and then that'll leave Stockton in there. So that's probably the one to watch, is who's going to run that national championship and who's going to want that pressure and who's going to want that smoke. And we'll see. But one of those guys probably going to bounce and leave camp if it doesn't work out for him.
Ohio State, I think this article is wrong in saying Ohio State didn't go to the transfer portal. The 2 guys that they had on campus already, Kyle McCord and Devin Brown, they added Tristan Gebbia. That's a name Husker fans should know. Again, Gebbia's been around the block, played quite a bit at Oregon State. Not the guy that took him to the bowl game this year, but Tristan Gebbia has film out there. Ohio State goes out and gets him. Kyle McCord has been on campus for a couple of years. He's been a backup. Hard to say he's a proven commodity, but I think would be the more veteran, stable option in that offense because he's not learning a new offense.
Yeah.
And then you get the wild card in Devin Brown, who seems like he's able to run a little bit, a little more mobile, maybe not quite Justin Fields-like mobility, but closer to that than what CJ Stroud gave them. And really, it could be the quarterback play for Ohio State that determines the Big Ten East because Michigan, with J.J. McCarthy at the helm, we know what he can do. Penn State's turning the reins over to Drew Aller, but they have two stud running backs in the stable. And Ohio State, still on top of the recruiting rankings, and we know Ryan Day can develop quarterbacks. But when I look at the guys that he brought in, Strick, this to me seems like it could be the year he needs to do his best coaching of the quarterback position.
Yeah. It's going to be some work for him that he's going to have to put in. There's still pressure on him. He's got to beat Michigan. So it's going to be some pressure as to who he's going to allow to run his ship. So, we'll see. We'll see. We don't know which guy is going to be the one, but keep an eye out on it.
Turn the conversation back to basketball next, starting with the shootout with Strick. Again, Big Ten men's basketball players of the year. Different questions regarding that. We'll get into that, and then we'll turn it to the NBA for hour two. Ask Strick some questions about that as the second half of the season gets underway tonight, and we'll hear from Ced Sabalas as well. 402-464-5685, the digits you need to get in to play the shootout with Strick for your chance at $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. We're playing the game next.
Are you tired of the same old entertainment options? How about something that's truly fun for both kids and adults? Nebraska Knockerball, the new place to go for your private and corporate parties. Step inside one of their inflatable spears and let out stress in a healthy form of exercise. Or try the human foosball, foot darts, yard pong, giant beer pong, basketball Connect 4, and much more. Nebraska Knockerball, specializing in physical engagement. Call Nebraska today at 402-460-8724 to learn more or book a reservation now.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Sunny skies by this afternoon, but very cold conditions, only a high of around 20, and with northwest winds gust overnight, wind chill values could be below zero for most of the day. Overnight will slow 4, increasing chance of some light snow showers, but warmer with a high of 26. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 50/40/27 from top shelf liquor favorite beer. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 27th Street in Lincoln. It's 5040 Street.
Hey guys, this is Lindsay Teal from Nebraska Golf Team. Mapping the best courses in the world. St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, Southern Hills, the best of the best. You can play those courses and more without ever leaving the city of Lincoln at Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle has the city's best golf simulators, 5 high-quality bays that track ball speed, launch angle, club speed, spin rate, and more to give you the most accurate gameplay. Check it out for yourself year-round. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go. Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. CUA.
It's Charlie Stone again, and why Andy here, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award. I want to know it's not just earned by one person's effort. It's the entire dealership, sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit action.com.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game.
402-464-5685. Call now. Win your $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings, or at least try. Strick, you look like you're in a good mindset, ready for the game. You're locked in today.
Yeah. It's Thirsty Thursday. Let's get it.
It is. We didn't have Kevin last week. He should be back
Hopefully
for old
today.
school today. He better be. Are you going to stick around and say hi to Kevin?
I think I'm going to hang around and say hi to Kevin.
Kevin's a good guy. I appreciate Kevin. While we wait for someone to call Strick, let's start the NBA conversation a little bit with the two questions from the text line. The first one from yesterday, Kip asked, what are NBA travel accommodations and hotels like? I can't picture LeBron staying in a Marriott.
He said travel in
like hotels.
So you fly on a private jet, whatever that is. Some of them have, they're modified. If they're with like American or United or whatever, they're modified. Some of them have privates. I know that we had a specific private jet when I was with the Knicks. The Mavericks now do have one, but when I played, we flew in an MD-80 modified, which was really nice. So you do fly there. I mean, you show up at the at the whatever the private airfield is, and you get on and you fly out. It's pretty quick like that. I've only got left once.
What happened that time?
And then you get to the hotels. I mean, you're staying at everything that's posh. Definitely Ritz-Carlton types and up. Pretty much anywhere. Sometimes it's near the arena. Sometimes it's in a suburbish type place. Like if we stayed in Detroit, we stayed, definitely not out where the arena was. So it just depends. Sometimes they like to get out. Depends on the coach too. Where like if you have a game in Utah or something and you like, okay, we're playing in Phoenix and we're out. They don't stay the night in Utah. It just depends also how far the travel is.
Gotcha. We do have a contestant for the shootout. We go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline, say hello to Curtis. Curtis, thanks for playing the shootout.
You bet. I'm a glutton for punishment. I lost yesterday.
Ooh, all right. Well, let's see if we can get you a win today. We'll give Strick his questions first. Hold on the line here. All right, Strick, round one of the shootout begins in 3, 2, and 1. He was the first Big Ten Men's Player of the Year. Scott Skiles or Roy Tarpley?
Tarpley.
It was. He was the first Indiana player to win the award. Mike Woodson or Jay Edwards?
Woodson.
Nope, it was Edwards. He's the most recent repeat winner of the award. Mateen Cleaves or Luka Garza?
Garza.
Yep, he's the first Illinois player to win the award. D. Brown or Frank Williams?
Williams.
Yep, and which school claims the most Big Ten Men's Players of the Year?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Ohio State.
It is not the Buckeyes. It is a state, but Michigan State claims the most Big Ten Players of the Year.
Dang it.
3 points. Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. Curtis, 3 to tie, 4 to win. Feeling any better today?
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, your round of the
Yeah,
shoot. I'll give you your round of the shootout here then in 3, 2, and 1. He was last year's Big Ten Men's Player of the Year. Johnny Davis or Keegan Murray?
Murray.
Nope, it was Davis. He was the first Purdue player to earn the award. Glenn Robinson or Steve Scheffler?
Robinson.
It was Scheffler. He was the first repeat Player of the Year award winner. Mateen Cleaves or Jim Jackson?
Cleaves.
It was Jackson. He's the only player to have his award vacated. Bobby Jackson or Chris Webber?
Chris Webber.
Nope, it was Jackson. And which school claims the second most Big Ten Men's Players of the Year?
2, 1.
Indiana.
It is not Indiana. It was after the buzzer. Curtis, thanks for playing. Hang up now. You can be caller number 3 to win the chicken at 402-464-5685. Ohio State claims the second most. Strick.
I was like, one too early.
You're right there. Ohio State claims 7. The tiebreaker question, though, how many Big Ten Men's Players of the Year have played at Michigan State?
3.
7 is the second most. That's what Ohio State had.
Oh,
Michigan
okay.
State has the most.
10.
Good line. 9.
Okay, not bad.
2 of them from Mateen Cleaves back in the day. Denzel
Mateen
Valentine.
Cleaves, he got it done. It just was. See, that's the crazy thing. Sometimes college perennial players just don't pan out on the next level. It's just, it's one of those crazy dynamics. But that's why I say go be a good one. Go be great in your college years. You just never know.
And that's where I think NIL is good for those guys who are going to make a run at the league. I mean, Mateen Cleaves, heck of a college player.
Yeah.
Denzel Valentine, heck of a college player. Cassius Winston, heck of a college player. None of those guys really did anything at the NBA level. So that's where, I think NIL is good for those guys who stick around.
Yeah, I have to agree. But yeah, it's Big Ten got it done. I know one player from Iowa.
You said Luka Garza.
Andre Wolvers was one, actually.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Strick, congratulations on your win. Well done. I believe that's 2 in a row. So you win tomorrow. The champ can be here all weekend. No pressure.
Man, I got 2 last time. I got to get this one tomorrow. Friday, baby, before I get out of here. I got to get that.
Find a way.
Got to find a way.
Just find a way. Make sure you find a way to come back with us here. We're talking NBA on the other side. Second half storyline, said Sabalas, all that and more still ahead.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. Going to Class E State Wrestling, Lincoln East would finish second as a team behind Millard South. Switching to girls basketball, Class A sub-districts are set. Lincoln High, 21-1, will have a bye and will play the winner of Omaha Burke and Grand Island. Lincoln Northeast, 13-10, will face off against Omaha Benson, 10-10. Lincoln Pius, the 10th, 17-5 record, will play Columbus with an 8-15 record. Lincoln East, 17-5, will play Omaha Westview, 10-12. All games will take place on Tuesday, February 22nd, and the championship round of sub-districts will take place on Friday, February 24th. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's Fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum. People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our Peace of Mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
Are you tired of the same old entertainment options? How about something that's truly fun for both kids and adults? Nebraska Knockerball, the new place to go for your private and corporate parties. Step inside one of their inflatable spears and let out stress in a healthy form of exercise. Or try the human foosball, foot darts, yard pong, giant beer pong, basketball Connect 4, and much more. Nebraska Knockerball, specializing in physical, engaging fun. Call Nebraska Knockerball today at 402-460-8724 to learn more or book a reservation now.
Think you need a new furnace due to a cracked heat exchanger? Call Bryant for a free second opinion. Might save you thousands, no matter what brand. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. We do whatever it takes.
Max 10 for men. Bye-bye golfer lines and t-shirt 10s. Take it to the max at Max 10. Get a 30-day pass, just $25. With stand-ups and laydowns for men of stature. Be a Max 10 man. Get 30 days for just $25 now at all 4 Lincoln Max 10 locations.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial or residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to MWRbuildingandfence.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Sunny skies by this afternoon, but very cold conditions, only a high of around 20, and with northwest winds gusting over 25, wind chill values could be below zero for most of the day. Overnight, we'll see a low down to around 4, increasing cloud cover tomorrow, a chance of some light snow showers, but warmer with a high of 26. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Hold up.
Hour 2 on the block coming your way on a thirsty Thursday. Thanks for dialing us in. 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com, or a Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter Starter Heyman live video stream. For the number for you to get in to the show, that same number, 402-464-5685, the Starter Heyman hotline, or the text line, the Honda of Lincoln hotline. We start the hour off with NBA. We'll keep the NBA conversation going, probably through the crossover. But Strick, to the text line we go. Cubsker had a question before we get into the second half storylines for the NBA. Cubsker says, I've noticed an uptick in technical fouls in the NBA. Is that true? And if so, why?
It could be a bunch of faking and foolery. It could be a bunch of chatterboxing. There has been an uptick in, especially out of Memphis, a lot of jaw jog, running mouths and stuff like that. So it could be a little bit of that. They're making so much money now that they don't care about the fines, obviously. Yeah, I mean, because you get fined if you get technicals, and
then you get suspended. They probably want the day off, for rest.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Wimps.
So yeah, that's probably why. It could be a thing from the referees, the leaders there that are saying, they're just not going to continue to tolerate it. So we'll see.
Did you ever get teed up in an NBA game?
Sure, for sure. Even sometimes where it wasn't warranted. Trying to have a discussion. One of the main ones that did that was Joey Crawford.
I was just going to ask if you got a Joey Crawford tee.
Joey. I used to always say to myself, this is before I actually, when I was in G League refereeing training, Joey was one of the trainers and the guys there that did that. And so getting to know him off the court helped, because I used to say, if I ever see Joey in a back alley, I might just steal on him. Like that's how bad I just couldn't stand him. But he was. I really loved Dick Bavetta. I thought he was just a fun-loving guy. There were certain guys that you could just really talk to. You're gonna have good, conversations with, and they'd be honest with you. They'd be real with you about it. But there were some where you if you looked at him wrong, obviously that he got in a little bit of trouble with the Tim Duncan situation, where Tim was sitting on the bench and he threw him out, tossed him out. He got in a little bit of trouble about that, but so he's a very wiry type of dude.
Who are some of the players you played with that got teed up the most? Who are the ones that never got teed up? Is there someone you thought should have gotten teed up that didn't one time, vice versa?
Guys that got teed up on, probably Antoine Walker. He was very animated. My Dallas teams, they're pretty cool. Maybe Gary Trent when I was on those teams. Milwaukee, everybody was pretty cool. I mean, not many guys. I mean, that just. I did play with Dennis Rodman for a period, so he did get some.
There you go.
He was very animated, taking shirts off, sitting in the middle of the court. Yeah, he did all that crazy stuff. So yeah, those are probably some of the guys mostly that would happen. We're pretty mild-mannered guys. We played. We got teased if we responded to certain calls, maybe, but nothing overt.
As you watch games, as from both the player perspective and from the ref perspective, what percentage of technicals that you see called in today's NBA or today's college basketball do you think are deserved? What percentage?
There's quite a bit that I'm like, are you serious? But then I'm not there. So there are some that I can say there are some where I've seen guys are talking to their own teammates or guys were talking somewhere else. And, you're not supposed to just be ear hustling. If it's directed at you, if it's animated to you, if guys jump off bench towards you or buck up to you, then yeah, there's tools. But there's some where guys are ear hustling, and you shouldn't be ear hustling. You should just pass over it and maybe go have a discussion with the man. But guys are so sensitive. A lot of guys are Ralph Tresvant. When I say Ralph Tresvant had a song out called "Man with Sensitivity." There's a lot of sensitive, just guys with their underwears in bunches, man. And, you got to have tough skin to do that. And listen, it's not easy because I know refereeing. I mean, I've had parents and coaches, and I mean, I've had coaches that wanted to, get buck after games. I'm like, well, for what? You know what I'm saying? Like, you took the L. I didn't change the game, call the game as I see it. If I make a mistake, that doesn't mean that we need to buck up, but it's getting crazy out there now. And I think that's why a lot of referees, there's not a lot of good ones. There's not a lot of them out there because, there are a lot of guys that just don't want the headaches. Even in high school. In high school. Yeah.
One of the technicals that always confuses me is, and then this will tie into kind of what we were talking about at the end of Happy Hour with Rico and the best refs reffing the gray, like you said. The hanging on the rim technical, right? There was one in last year's tournament. RJ Melendez from Illinois hangs on the rim. To me, that's more for two reasons. Either a little bit of a celebration or to avoid hitting someone that's right under the basket, whether you're going to swing into them or drop on the ground. To me, the refs that do the black and white by the rule book, call it immediately. But the ones that ref the gray are the ones that give you a little bit of a hang and they understand the situation.
Yeah, I mean, hang can be determined if you jump off of one leg, and your momentum sometimes swings you out. It's the pull-ups. Like if you do pull-ups or do slapping glasses and stuff like that, yeah, that's warranted. But just a normal dunk where there is guys that sometimes find themselves in vicinity underneath you. You're just taking a second to let things clear. That those aren't warranted to me. But people do, like you say, they'll blow it. They're so technical in the whole thing. Yeah, he hung, but did you check why?
Right.
Yeah.
One more before we get your thoughts on the NBA second half from the YouTube stream. Thanks to Nick for chiming in here. He asked, whatever happened to Woolridge? Is he coaching, living large in Europe? Hope he's doing something as an Omaha legend.
Andre Woolridge he's training the next generation of young men. He's put a lot of them in college, and some of them have great success. He's out in Sacramento. He has his own academy, All World. I think it's All World Ballin'. I think that's what it's called. And he's out in Sacramento doing that, training young men. He's still playing a little bit, still in great shape. But yeah, he's out there in the California coast.
Awesome to hear. Good deal. Turning our attention to the second half of the NBA season, Strick, let's start in the Western Conference. What are you watching in the second half of the season in the West?
Well, obviously it's going to be a fight, coming down the pipe. In the Western Conference, obviously you got to be looking at the MVP race. How's that going to pan out? Is Luka going to be able to make a run at it? Obviously Nikola Jokic is having a phenomenal season, averaging a triple-double at the center position, which is absolutely astonishing, especially after winning back-to-back. He's still in the mix of it. He would be only the fourth player to win 3 consecutive MVPs with Larry Bird, Wilt Chamberlain, and Bill Russell, which is
good
great
company.
names. That's great company to look at. Something to look out west is, what's going to happen is, with the Lakers, the adjustments that they made, obviously Westbrook being traded, the additions, some great shooting that they've added. You got to think about LeBron's legacy. Yes, he's won the all important, all-time points leader, but there's something that he hasn't done in his career, and that's missed the playoffs in 2 consecutive years. Is that something that's going to be possibly in the mix of it? I mean, right now they're 13th in that. There's only 20-something to 24 to 27 games left. Can they make a run? But the problem with that is other teams have gotten better. You may have a couple guys that have some tank options in their minds, but they have resources, so they don't necessarily have to tank. They can continue to let their teams play. Like Oklahoma City, they've got great resources in order to, if they want to move up, they can throw 3 first-rounders at you to get in the Wembanyama sweepstakes. So, how are they going to gel? What are you going to get out of Anthony Davis? To me, it seems like there was some frustration out of Anthony Davis, not just with LeBron winning, but, with what the team is doing. I venture to say some of the frustration looked like, to me, allegedly, that he might have wanted to be on the move. That's I can understand. He probably was the most valuable of the chips. Outside, giving away those 2027 first round, that's nothing. But that could have been some frustration out there. So keeping an eye on that. And obviously the Kyrie Irving and how they're going to mesh. Now they're going to get a chance to play a lot more games together. How's that going to work out?
What do you think Act 2 in Los Angeles looks like for D'Angelo Russell?
I mean, he's more mature. He's playing tremendous ball. He's developed his game. When you look at what they were able to do in some instances, now they're going to have a guy who actually can lead the charge and actually can stretch the floor and open up the lane to allow, LeBron and AD space in there. Also with, what's my guy's name? Shooter, came from Minnesota to Utah. Some reason I want to say Bagwell. It's not.
Beasley.
Malik
There
Beasley.
we go. Get there eventually.
Yeah, Malik Beasley. I mean, those guys can stretch the floor a little bit. Their issue is going to be defense. They're a very bad defensive team. Are they going to be able to, step that area up in their, this final stretch?
More likely to get home court in the first round. Your current number 3 in the West, Sacramento. Your current 5 in the West, Phoenix.
So what's the question?
Who's more likely to get a first round home playoff series?
Phoenix or
Sacramento?
I think Sacramento. Listen, they've been playing together. They've been staying together. They've got all their weapons. Sabonis is a beast, and De'Aaron Fox and that crew they're solid, unexpectedly solid.
Right.
But I think they're with the games left coming stretch. I think they'll be fine. Now I think something to watch out west is who's going to emerge out of it. Just keep your eyes and watch out for Golden State, man. I mean, they're just you just can't count them out. They've got it, and they've been slowly creeping. They're going to be a worrisome matchup to anybody. I think they're going to they would feel better getting to 6, so they don't have to do any play in.
Mm-hmm.
But watch out for them. They very much can emerge. Some are saying that they think it could look like Denver and them. So
need Steph back. Obviously, having Steph Curry helps. I'm glad you brought them up because I was going to ask about them, but you answered that. Here's something to keep an eye on for me. The Nuggets, Strick, 27-4 at home. Incredible home record. 14-14 on the road. Some of that makes sense because, pretty much every team is going to be better at home. Did you notice the altitude difference when you played in Denver?
Heck yeah.
It is a thing?
Heck
it's real?
Yeah, it's real. Heck yeah. I mean, we always had to have oxygen, because you don't have enough time to adjust to that altitude. So we had oxygen in the first adrenaline dump that you have, and then you're like, whoa, wait a minute. It's like your legs don't want to pick up. You don't want to get up and down, especially if you're a running team like we were. Whew, yeah, it hits. And then until you finally kind of, get up out of it, it's serious. It is real. It is definitely real.
Something to monitor in the West. Okay, out east. What has your eyeballs tuned in out east?
The East is going to probably come down to maybe a 3-teamer, maybe add a 4th. Probably a disappointment is Atlanta. I thought Atlanta probably would have been a lot better.
Your thoughts on Nate McMillan getting let go?
Yeah, they're just not. That's the thing. In the NBA, one of the first things to go is going to be the coach because it has become a players' league. So if the key to having longevity in the NBA is having the ability to have rapport, if you lose that, especially with your star players, you just can't recover. So they're going to move you before they move them, right? They're making hundreds and millions of dollars, and you're making
a couple million,
4 or 5 a year, and it's like it's easier to just move them and find and fit somebody else into that spot. So that has been a disappointment, but it's gonna come down to, I think, 3. And correct me if I'm wrong. Sutter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. But I think it's going to be either Boston, Philly, and then keep your eye out on Cleveland. Cleveland ain't no slouch. I think Spider's got them going.
No Milwaukee?
Oh, that's why it's 4. Yeah, Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee is solid. I think Milwaukee's solid.
It's funny that you left them off for a second because, Strick, I didn't realize they were only a half game back at Boston.
Yeah.
Boston's been the talk of the East, and they've been probably the most consistent team. Milwaukee's won 12 in a row.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, the best thing that happened to them is Chris Middleton's healthy.
Yes.
So Middleton getting back, and you're getting that extra scoring, great defensive prowess out front, led by Drew Holiday. He's running the show. He's playing pretty efficiently, and they've got great backups. They've got a pretty good bench. They got a pretty deep bench. So watch Milwaukee. You just hope that the hand and the injury to his right hand on Giannis Antetokounmpo is not going to be something that's going to hinder him ultimately.
The middle of the East is fascinating to me. I'm going to put Cleveland in the top because they're the 4 seed now, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. 5 through 10, I don't think there's a single team I trust between the Nets, down the 2 big names, the Knicks. I'm not sure about them. The Heat
They could be a scary first rounder. I just don't see them going deep. But go ahead.
Yeah, then the Heat, the Hawks
Too
you mentioned,
inconsistent. Mhm.
then the Wizards and your Raptors are your
Yeah.
9-10. And there's a reason they're on the periphery, but nobody in that group really enthuses me.
Yeah, nobody scares me down that way. That's why I think it's going to be one of those four. They thinned out, which is going to make it even better for Boston. Probably even better for Milwaukee. But just the way that Cleveland can get after you, they can put points up and they can defend their scary proposition.
So the Raptors sit in 10th at 28-31. 2 games back of them are the Bulls. Half a game back of the Bulls are the Pacers. And then a game and a half back are the Magic. Any of those 3 teams able to make a run to the play-in?
Like you say, anytime you have great guard play, Tyrese Halliburton and that crew, they have a potential to do it. They've got a good center. They've got, I don't know if they shoot the 3 completely as a team good enough. But yeah, they don't scare me. That's nothing that would scare me, as far as being in the East. No, definitely not Toronto. None of them at that point would do so. You got to feel bad for the Pelicans because they got off to a tremendous start. Now it's sad because that's the thing. I mean, you notice we haven't mentioned Memphis. I think Memphis is doing more talking than playing to me. I mean, yes, they're still kind of there in the mix of it, but when it comes down to it in a series, what are you going to get? Are you going to get flash and dash, a lot of mouth and no production, or are you going to get a Memphis team that's going to mature and go out and go and take something?
Is that because of Ja, or does Ja need to do more to stop that?
I mean, he's part of it. He's definitely probably initiator of it. And then, just a nasty player. And
Brooks
is just nasty, and a real nice guy is kind of starting to carry off into it, and that's Desmond Bane, and the culture is starting to breed. The quiet guy that just covers them a lot is Adams.
Right.
But they can win. I mean, they're a lot of flash, but that's the thing is when it comes down to lockdown and then scouting reports get to you, are they going to be, can you trust them? And that's where I don't know if I feel comfortable in that.
Who do you think makes a bigger impact on the West in the next 2 or 3 seasons? Zion Williamson, Jaren Jackson Jr.?
Probably Jaren Jackson Jr. for me. He's probably the most consistent. He's healthy. He when he's healthy, he's
he's all NBA, like first team defense, if not defensive player of the year good.
He's that good. He challenges, he blocks, he runs. That's something. Keep an eye out in Phoenix. Don't write them out because we just got to see how they're going to gel, and we'll know very quickly on how that meshes together. I think it takes a lot of pressure off of Chris Paul. With his addition, so Chris can just be solid in his mid-range and drop dimes. His assist numbers will probably start going through the roof a little bit. And, but I think a key piece in that, a key component is what are you going to get out of DeAndre Ayton? That's what's going to, determine, I think, where they go.
KD's supposed to be back this week. He's been targeting this week as his return. How long do you think it takes to get him integrated, or what's that like, integrating a piece like him into the system?
I mean, KD's a dominant figure, but he's able to work himself in. So
kind of like
I
Golden
think
State.
It's just going to be for them to figure out what style they're going to play. They've been a one matchup, one-on-one type of team, run a lot of pick and rolls. Stretch the floor, but are they going to go to a free flow, like you say, Golden State style, or are they going to continue with the one-on-one? When that ball gets stagnant, then, that's going to be the issue. Are they going to have a lot of stagnation, or are they going to, be moving and cutting? And that's what KD's coming from. I think KD's success and the success that they were having out in Brooklyn is because they opened up and they were a lot of movement, a lot of ball movement. If Phoenix can do that, they can be dangerous.
It's hard to rely on one-on-one scoring, even when you're as good as Kevin Durant. If you have that as a fail-safe, that seems like a good thing to go to. Cubs on the text line asks too, My girlfriend secured tickets to Sunday's Kings Thunder game. What should I keep an eye on in that game?
I just watch the youth of OKC. I mean, like I'm saying, they've got so many things. They've got great youth. Josh Giddey is a phenomenal, dimer. He'll drop dimes on you. Just how hard their youth play. But Sacramento is listen, they're quietly tough. And Sabonis is a hell of a matchup. Pete, I don't think he gets as much credit as I think he should.
There you go. Keep the NBA conversation going. Next, one of Strick's old teammates, one of our new NBA insiders, Cedric Sabalas, is joining the show next. We'll connect with him over break and keep the NBA conversation going.
Max 10 for men. Bye-bye golfer lines and T-shirt 10s. Take it to the max. Get 30 days for just $25 now at all 4 Lincoln Max 10 locations.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Think you need a new furnace due to a cracked heat exchanger? Call Bryant for a free second opinion. Might save you thousands, no matter what brand. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. We do whatever it takes.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC in Louisville. As we roll into the year, we continue to get plenty of new 2023 inventory and have a great selection of used vehicles. And if we don't have what you want, we'll put her in for you. We also have 2.9% financing right now on select Chevy and GMC new models. So stop on in and make that short drive to Louisville or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Hey guys, this is Lindsay Teal from Nebraska Golf Team. Imagine golfing the best courses in the world. St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, Southern Hills, the best of the best. You can play those courses and more without ever leaving the city of Lincoln at Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle has the city's best golf simulators, 5 high-quality bays that track ball speed, launch angle, club speed, spin rate, and more to give you the most accurate gameplay. Check it out for yourself year-round. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on the street.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Cherry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Sunny skies by this afternoon, but very conditions. Northwest today. Overnight, we'll see a little over tomorrow. A chance of some light snow showers, but warmer with a high of 26. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner. Or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Mary Ellen for the soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
There's nothing like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sauce, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 8th and Havelock, or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. Welcome back. Drake and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to On the Block, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. This is the place where you can find us 2 to 4 every day, Monday through Friday. We give special thanks once again to our soul food extraordinaire and sponsor, Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. 27th and Pine Lake is where you can find them. They are open for business. Go out there, shout them out. Tell Charles we said what's happening. You can have some of the best food in town right there at Mary Ellen's. Joining us on the block now is our friend and regular contributor, NBA style, Seth Sabalis. What's going on, my friend? How are you today?
The block is hot. Let's get to it, E.
The block is hot, definitely. Now that the All-Star break is over, there's a couple things first I want to talk about because I know that you were there. You had the opportunity to go out there and shake and rub arms and shoulders with some of the new schoolers as well as some of the old schoolers. Utah, how was it how did they do? How did they handle the All-Star weekend? And also, what are some of the things that you liked about this All-Star and some of the things that you felt was disappointing?
Well, first, Salt Lake City, Utah did a great job. One thing that obviously, when we go play the Jazz, that everything is in close proximity, walking distance, and they did a great job of having the current players connected to the convention center and had us connect right across the street. So even though I bought a big coat, I didn't need it. There was snow on the ground. Sun was shining. It was a little chilly, but it wasn't a point where, it's getting uncomfortable like I think next year is going to be when it's in Indiana. I thought they represented the NBA well. I thought they brought back the jam session, which I haven't seen since LA days. That's when they canceled it. And it wasn't because of the pandemic or anything that they canceled it. They just thought that it wasn't, maybe profitable or they just didn't think that a lot of people attended. I'm really not sure on why they stopped doing it, but it is back and in full effect. They had games, they had merchandise, they had guest appearances, autograph sessions, they had camps, they had classes, they had speeches, they had just about anything. I participated in a cooking show with all the guys, all the chefs, Guy Fieri and the crew from Food Network, which was great. And other than that, only disappointing part about it is, and I said this years ago, that the decline of the competition or the competitiveness of the actual All-Star game. Other than that, I thought it was a great display. Obviously, it would have been nice to have LeBron around a little bit more than just flying in for the game. But, him going to see Bronny's senior game was very much more important than coming to the All-Star game. But other than that, the way they celebrated John Stockton and my man Karl Malone was wonderful. Adding NBA Africa to the halftime performance was pretty good, and you get opportunity with Siakam and the rest of the guys and Giannis, the guys who have come from that native land to really celebrate their culture. Shots out and prayers going to Dikembe Mutombo, who would have probably headed this thing off, but he's going through extensive treatment of his brain cancer, so hopefully he recovers from that. But other than that, Utah did a great job, Big Strick.
Yes, Ed. But let me toss this out to you. One of the nights, we barring Saturday, of the nights, what was most impressive? Because I can tell you one thing for sure: your boy, for me, Mac McClung, saved the dunk contest because I didn't come into it with no expectations. I didn't know what to expect. There were some that had some heads on the rim. There was some look in type stuff. Mm-hmm. But is there something that you think needs to be added? And what was your thoughts on like Mac McClung's performance?
Let's back it up a little bit. I think everybody stepped into the dunk contest disappointed that you didn't see Ja Morant, that you didn't see the Zach LaVine. Zach already won it. I mean, Aaron Gordon, all this stuff like that. And they wanted to see Zion, LeBron, all this other stuff they've been trying to get them to do for years. But you got to understand, the brand is bigger than the dunk contest. And until the NBA lifts that up a little bit more, it's, if you're making $40 million, you got a chance to go out there for $100,000. It's not worth it. Right. They have to have some incentives. Your first, second, maybe third year is your opportunity to do it. Once you get past 3 years, please, players, do not get in the dunk contest. It is not worth it. Back in the day when you saw Dr. J, when you saw Larry Nance, myself, D Brown, we needed those dunk contests. You know what I'm saying? We needed the dunk contests to solidify. At the time it was $25,000, $35,000, which was pretty cool. But it has gotten and to D Brown's perspective, to my perspective, we got shoe contracts from that. Mac got his shoe contract. He joined us with Puma. Congratulations to him. But these players, Bron already has a shoe line. Zion already has a shoe line. John Moran just broke out his shoe line. They already had those. So there's no incentive as brand wise. So, and this is an opportunity for a young guy to be up and coming, just like Mac, and to come in and impress some people and go on. The problem to me with the dunk contest, the commentators. They never have a commentator that has won a dunk contest or did anything to achieve in a dunk contest. They had it one time with Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard got on the mic one time. Other than that, Kenny Jet Smith, get out of there. You done lost 3 dunk contests. Get out of there. Shaq, you're not a dunker anyway. You're a strong dunker, great. Reggie Miller, you're a shooter. Anybody else that they put in there, you're not dunkers. So for you to come on and criticize this, that, and the other and talk about, what they should do, and I need to be this and I need to be that, and it's over. Who do you say that it's over? If we got a scoring championship to be done, then put Kareem, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Karl Malone in the conversation to see exactly what real scorers do. Other than that, the dunk contest was fine with me. I thought the young fellas really did a good job. I thought Mac, the wonderful thing that he did, his first tries, he knocked them out his first tries. He didn't go out and try something that he could not do, that he did not work on. And his adrenaline was different than everybody else's. Don't get me wrong. He won $100,000, and that's his whole contract for the year. So I would have went out and showed my butt too.
Big facts. Something that we've been involved in, Big Said, is a lockout. We happened to go through that. We actually went through it together there in Dallas. They've extended it, obviously, to March 31st. Help those who don't understand kind of what's going on between Tamika, Tremaglio, and Adam Silver in these discussions. It doesn't seem as if they're far off like we were back in our days when we was just like, we not taking that. It doesn't seem like they're far off in their discussions. They look like they want to get something done. But, help us to understand kind of how that can affect the game potentially if it doesn't go right in these negotiations.
Yeah, I was involved in 2 CBA arguments, so to speak. The second one was obviously with you, but the first one, they proceeded to and was ruled to open up the books of the owners. Before, the owners would only say, we made X amount of money in ticket sales and, and X amount of money in concessions, and that's it. That collective bargaining agreement that we agreed upon, let you know that there's partnerships, let you know that there are parking, let you know that there are sponsorships, there are TV contracts, radio contracts. Matter of fact, 2 or 3 TV contracts, because some teams, had their own national station, and they went on to a TBS or WGN like Chicago, and then also at the time NBC, ESPN, or ABC, Disney at the time. So that was a great opening up. Our second time really was detrimental to me and the guy. Maybe, I don't know if it really punished you a lot, but it punished me because I was a 10-year veteran, and it kind of kicked out the old guy. So riding off into the sunset part, as they told Paul Pierce, just not your Kobe Bryant moment. You're not going to have no Kobe. I didn't have my Kobe Bryant moment because of that collective bargaining, because they kind of pushed me, Rex Chapman, Danny Manning. We old guys, we kind of get pushed out. Now, I think the beef of the owners is sitting out, game management, load management. Guys are making $40 million and only playing in 60 games. And sometimes that's the coaching staff. And then it's sometimes it's always the owners fighting against each other. It's not really the players, because this is a situation where the owner wants LeBron James to be healthy in the playoffs. But when LeBron James comes to Phoenix, that owner wants LeBron James to play because it's a big ticket and this, that, and the other. So they really barking against each other. Same when PJ Tucker, Lonzo Mourning, and coach for the Michigan right now, Juwan Howard, they had this big beef and was like, no, we can't play nobody $100+ million. Well, stop negotiating against each other. Washington negotiating against Miami. Miami negotiating against Charlotte. You guys are pushing the number up. Juwan is not asking for more money. You guys are negotiating. Okay, I'm a match. That's why I went to 119. So if they want to end this, load management. Obviously, Adam Silver had stretched the games out and spreading them out so they can have a little healthiness. If you want to do that, you got to start with your own players. You got to tell LeBron. And I'm not putting everything on LeBron's shoulders. It is what it is. Popovich started this thing with Tim Duncan and Ginobili and Tony Parker, and then it just kind of blew up in that. I don't know if you guys remember that. The big thing
I do.
I think it was a Christmas Day game. San Antonio played in Miami, and he told Ginobili, he told Parker, he told Tim Duncan to stay home. And it's like a national. Everybody's watching on Christmas, and you told these guys to stay home. Like, that's really ridiculous. So they're fighting against each other. They're putting themselves in and making it seem like the players are beefing about this. Now, if I'm a player on the player side, and I'm making, what these guys are making, 30, 40 million, and you telling me I don't have to play 82 games, I'm going to play 20 years like LeBron. I'm play 25 years like he probably will play. You even back it up to those who really wore themselves out and beat themselves down that couldn't sustain what these guys are sustaining now with their league. And I played in the era, and I not only the shorts, but I played in the era where we commercially flew and we had to get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to catch a flight to play. So I'm sitting next to a crying baby and just a regular, good guy, a construction worker or anything. And we flying in.
There ain't a whole bunch of there ain't a whole bunch of first class tickets in those situations either. If you was a young rookie using a backpack, it didn't matter if you was 7 foot or not.
So I'm passing the peanuts just like everybody else passing the peanuts. So so now you got to figure out, obviously the luxuriousness of and we went through it where Mark Cuban would pick our brains when we were in Dallas and like, what did the players want? And he got out of me was, hey, I'm good. Like, you don't need to put a stereo and a video game in my locker room or David Stern stopped him from putting a workout facility on the plane. Like, nah, you don't need to do all that. You just need to, have a good work environment, and I want to run through a wall for you. And that's what he has established in Dallas. And that's why, all players who come through Dallas, they never have a bad rapport. And they also love, Mark Cuban, even after he either trade or fire them.
So here's the last question for you of the day. Being a former Laker, the Lakers find themselves in the 13th slot at a 27-32 record, made some great additions, needed to get the shooting around them with the additions of D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt. What say you? Do they get into the playoffs, or does this taint LeBron's legacy in any way of missing the playoffs after 2 consecutive seasons?
Well, it's tough. You're going to try to taint him because of the healthiness of Anthony Davis, and it's hard. Great acquisitions, man. Rob Pelinka, hats off. You're only 4 games out of the playoffs and solidifying your spot in the 6th spot. So don't feel too bad about it right now. And I think the biggest thing was 2 moves that he made. The courage to let Russell Westbrook grow. And Russell, don't get me wrong, he is a key part. He went to the Clippers, but he could have plugged in at any position and made them a number 1 contender to win the NBA championship year. That's how important Russell was. But for this squad, it just wasn't a nice fit. He had too much seniority. He had too much power for Darvin Ham to deal with. And he's going through a point where he's not playing like he's normally used to playing. So that kind of affected the whole chemistry of the team. Great job, Rob, and having that courage and letting him go. But I think the biggest point of this is not only when you get D'Angelo Russell, somebody who can stand and doesn't need the basketball to shoot, and also to get out of LeBron's and everybody's way. The big key is, I think, is Mo Bamba from Orlando.
One, he understands his position. He's not a superstar as of yet, but I don't think he really wants to be that. I think he wants to be that role player that he really needs. I won't put him in Chris Bosh's category or Kevin Love's category when LeBron was with Miami or Cleveland. But he has the capability of doing that. He can hit the open three. He can put the ball on the ground. But most importantly, he affects their defensive tremendously. And he also is willing to just catch and finish. He doesn't need a whole setup. He doesn't need to be involved in the pick and roll. So a young fella like that, if LeBron, AD put him under their wing and teach them, and I know they probably will, I think this would be a good opportunity for them. Winning the championship, no, but I think they will have a decent opportunity.
Said, that's great stuff, man. Great insight. Tell the folks that's listening on the block today how they can find you to hear some of this great content coming from you as you make your travels, as you go and see and even the DJ session. People don't know that you get on the ones and twos and you'll spice it up a little bit. Tell them how they can find you.
Yeah. Just at Seth Ceballos, at all my social media apps, man. And the DJ is something I've been doing since I was 12. That's what I wanted to do growing up, man. I got lucky with this basketball thing. And let me add the great opportunity that Utah has, and also the NBA, on shining Mr. Karl Malone, man. He's been in the dark for a while. It's good he's coming out. If you guys get a chance, NBA TV, watch the interview with him and Isaiah Thomas, which y'all probably thought that they were all beefing this whole time. And I think it just shines a whole lot of great light on the big fella. We played against him a lot, and I've become really good friends with him and his family, and I just really applaud the NBA on the way they celebrated him coming back to Utah.
Great stuff. Thanks, Seth Ceballos, for joining him. That's him, the great Seth Ceballos, one-time dunk champion, all-star from the NBA, giving us great insight here on the block. We'll hopefully see you in a couple of weeks, Ed.
Yes,
possibly.
sir.
If you're we'll hope to see you in a few weeks. We get him a couple of weeks to tap in on some NBA talk. This is 93.7 The Ticket on the block. We got to get out of here for the crossover and old school joining us next after this.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Lives, securing futures.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's Fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Life-changing research doesn't just take place in outer space. It's also happening right here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Stellarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, needs healthy adults who are 19 years old and older for a research opportunity. If you qualify, you can earn up to $500 a day for time and travel. Overnight stays may be required. To learn more, call Stellarion at 866-213 and help or hybrid.
Hey guys, this is Lindsay Teal from Nebraska Golf Team. Imagine golfing the best courses in the world. St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, Southern Hills, the best of the best. You can play those courses and more without ever leaving the city of Lincoln. Double Eagle has the city's 5 high-quality bays that track spin angle, club speed, spin rate, and more to give you the most accurate gameplay. Check it out for yourself year-round. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for Lincoln English Premier League soccer. Man City had a huge midweek win against Arsenal to draw closer in the standings, but Arsenal bounced back quickly with a win over Aston Villa. And Man City had a surprising 1-1 draw with Nottingham Forest. Man United shut out Leicester City 3-0 to keep place at third in the standings. Arsenal hosts Leicester City this weekend, and you can catch all the EPL matches at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket at 8th and P.
Max 10 for men. Bye-bye golfer lines and t-shirt 10s. Take it to the max at Max 10. Get a 30-day pass, just $25 with stand-ups and laydowns for men of stature. Be a Max 10 man. Get 30 days for just 10 locations.
Vershawn Jackson for Brandt Excavating. Brandt's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brandt is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brandt Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrandtExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brandt Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who remind you.
Lots of Lincoln. Way too much and making you well. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuff. Come out to Price Right and find some great prices. We won't let you get 11 since we back every one of our vehicles with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on West O Street at Price Right Auto.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Sunny skies by this afternoon, but very cold conditions, only a high of around 20, and with northwest winds gusting over 25, wind chill values could be below zero for most of the day. Overnight, we'll see a low down to around 4, increasing cloud cover tomorrow, a chance of some light snow showers, but warmer with a high of 26. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're coming in hot. Welcome back to On the Block. I'm in here with the old school crew. Kenny Wilhite. Hey, but listen. I'm eating on the Mercado. This is
it's their show.
I'm giving them kudos because the Mercado set me up. I'm good to go in here.
And it's scrum diddly-umptious.
Scrum diddly-umptious. And so listen, just had said on, man, had a real good segment.
I was listening.
Broke down, man. He took us in there deep into what's going on in the All-Star, just some of the details in basketball. But we're going to go over because we had an earlier discussion where we were talking about the approaching of spring training. Not baseball, but for football, spring practice, spring ball. There's going to be some highly touted, highly engaged quarterback battles. And I want both of your perspectives. I can throw a couple teams out, but obviously 3 top-tier contender teams is going to be looking at new quarterbacks. We'll just start there. Let's just start with Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State. Yep. We'll just go with those for right now. Maybe touch one more SEC team. But the most intriguing one to me right now is the Texas one. Obviously, you got Quinn Ewers and you got Archie Manning. How do you think Sarkisian is able to manage that situation?
Well, I think he had that conversation
probably prior to coming. I hope so.
I'm sure he did. He's not. He
ain't gonna mess it up twice.
He can't mess it up twice. So I'm sure he had that conversation prior to Manning committing.
Yeah, or they had that conversation with him.
Or they had that conversation with him.
That's usually how the Mannings do it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure he's gonna manage it properly, and may the best guy win.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I mean, look, man, it's Quinn Ewers was the number. I think he was number one when he came out.
One of like the 5 perfect 1,000 scores by recruiting.
And so and at times he played
out of Texas, out of a damn near college down there in Allen.
Yeah, so I mean,
he's like a college campus.
At times last year he played well,
mm-hmm.
but he does have his deficiencies.
Yes.
Arch Manning, I think obviously in the league that he played, and he was a lot of times the biggest, dude.
Yeah.
But he knows how to play the game. He's for real. So it's going to come down to managing expectations, managing reps, and then when it's time to play Arch, and especially if they don't start off fast winning with Ewers, homeboy's going to be in that transfer portal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I say,
you know
too.
what? You know what? To be honest with you, he be in play for a team like Nebraska.
He'll be on his third school.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
But somebody will pick him up for sure.
Yeah, and he has good tape. And really, if I'm him, realistically, besides playing perfect every season, kind of like how, you got to think, kind of like how Tom Brady was getting the shaft by the Michigan coach, where he had to almost play perfect because they wanted to play Drew Henson. At some point in time, why you even? If I'm viewers, I don't need to deal with that.
Interesting take.
I really don't.
Interesting take.
Because ultimately, if you because in that locker room, they know.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah, in that locker room, they know. They know when Arch is here, Arch is going to be the quarterback for at least 2 full seasons. Now, if you want to hold him off for a year, okay, then. But then I got to have a conversation with you because Arch is not coming there to sit.
No, he's not coming. Definitely
That part.
not coming to sit on the
Yeah,
bench.
that's why I find it very interesting. Let's shift. Obviously, Bryce Young is about to move on. He's about to get a bag. He's going to get that money. But his backup was very mediocre in Jalen Milroe. Great feet, can run that thing.
Big, too.
Big.
Arm and
just
big.
accuracy has been one of the issues for him, but then he's going to be facing off with Ty Simpson. So does this change the landscape for Alabama? Like, how does it look? Because there's a lot of uncertainty in their quarterback ranks. What do you think?
Well, I think it does. Alabama is going to still be Alabama.
Yeah. Okay.
Because for that defense is young or was young. Of course, they're losing Anderson, but they're going to be even better next year. I think they'll be better across the front line and the offense line because they were young. So they actually gain security for him, for whoever the quarterback is. It might change how they call plays. Now also, let's not forget, Bill O'Brien is gone, which is probably good.
Yes.
Because when you watched Alabama against Tennessee, when you watched the games that they lost, when they only lost them by one score, it came down to play calling.
Yes.
And
he was ready to be gone.
Yeah, and everybody, and you could just tell it was just never a good mesh. So it's actually a perfect time, in my opinion, for this new coordinator with a new quarterback and with Saban to try to shape the offense for this year moving forward. But the young man is going to have to take a couple steps forward. But I will say this. He showed flashes of actually throwing the ball. What he didn't show is trying to bite off too much. And that just comes from a lack of experience. So they're going to, when you have essentially the number 1 pick in the draft, a quarterback, he erases a lot of ugliness anywhere. Because he's that good. He's get out of the pocket, throw guys open, and so forth and so on. So these teams that are normally dominant, the reason why they're normally these 3 teams are the ones for the last 3 years have kind of always thought of in the title hunt. Well, Georgia's won 2, Alabama won the year before, so there's at least 2 of them, and Ohio State was thinking that. It's all led by quarterback play.
Yeah. I wanted to go to Georgia, but it's a 3-team race there. I'm going to skip over them. Let's get to the Big Ten. Let's talk about Ohio State. Ryan Day, 2 quick questions. If Ryan Day doesn't handle business in the Big Ten and take care of Michigan, is he on the hot seat? 1. 2, he loses C.J. Stroud, and what he's got to work with is Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. They've got a quarterback history with going back to, Dwayne Haskins, Justin Fields, and C.J. Stroud. Now you got Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. What does this look like for Ohio State? Be honest.
To be honest with you, between those 3 teams, they're in the best position.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because McCord and Stroud were neck and neck in their competition. And it actually was a true competition. So and Ryan Day by nature is a quarterback coach. He's gonna make sure that whoever it is ready. Most likely be McCord. And they got some playing time. So I think they're better off. Now, back to your first question, they go out there and play like they did against Michigan this year again, he's going to be on the hot seat. He's going to be messing around looking for an NFL job. Now, because it's the way that they're losing. Now, see, the first year, I would say the elements. That's fine. And that's a legitimate excuse because it affects Ohio State more than Michigan. And then even this year, it really wasn't the offense. It was more or less the defense that you paid $2 million for a coordinator. But then it wasn't even that. It's actually your golden armor that was so atrocious. It was all year. Is their defensive back play? You saw it against Georgia. How do you? I don't care how fast somebody is. You got the same scouting report for 2 weeks, and when you look on tape and see number 11 from Georgia, and he looked like he running in fast forward. You know how when you do fast forward, and it just gives you the 1 or 2. Well, he's at 3 instead of 5. So that means back your butt up 3 times.
Exactly.
That part.
Right. And so that's really probably what. So he has to actually. I'm going to be looking to see if he can reshape how. I think he's trying to reshape how he recruits, because that's, I think, part of the problem as well. They fell in love with going to get the guys from Florida and California. There's nothing against these guys or nothing. But then they, from the friends that I know at Ohio State, they kind of felt like internally in the state that they've kind of been looked over, some of the players. That's where the toughness came from, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you talk about Michigan. So that's what Jim Harbaugh did different. Say, hey, look, instead of us trying to be Ohio State, we're going to do the exact opposite. Ohio State hasn't adjusted from a physicality standpoint. It's not a big adjustment, but it started in the recruitment and how, the glitz and glamour. But when you got first-round receivers, I mean, how can you fault them? Because this year it's on the DBs.
Yep.
And I'm looking at the DB coach like I'm looking at you. Because, hey, I'm going to tell you like this, old school. This is how I be looking at Kenny. Hey, we in defensive meetings. Yeah, let me get us some of that summer sausage. Kenny.
As you should, though.
Well, like, what's up?
As you should.
Right. So
as
that's where it
should.
comes. And you know what else? You be looking back at the defensive line coach and saying, where's the pass rush?
That part.
So,
it's a collective.
It's a collective.
But hold on. Let's get a quick station identification, and I want to get you in on that.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Break that down, Cable Hot.
But he should be looking at me. If my defensive backs aren't playing like they're supposed to be playing consistently,
yeah.
I need to be held accountable to
Right.
that. And we talked about that accountability.
Right.
You got to look yourself in the mirror. I can't blame you for not getting a pass rush.
Right.
If I'm getting beat on man, if I'm getting beat in cover 2 or cover 3,
Yeah.
that's on me. That's not on you.
Looking like blown coverage.
Man. So, but again, how many coordinators have Ryan Day had? Because he demoted one.
Well, he had a co-coordinator.
Yeah.
And then the younger one went and got a defensive coordinator job. Then I think Kerry Combs was there, who actually was a good coordinator. But then you started to saw a little bit. So then he got demoted halfway through the season.
Yes.
And then they had a younger one. He ended up actually leaving. And then they
So
brought
there's
in
no
consistency.
consistency there.
yeah.
So of course they're gonna be playing bad.
Real quick, real brief. Joe Milton had a tremendous game in filling in for Hendon Hooker in the Orange Bowl against Clemson. 257 yards, 3 TD passes. The man is 6'5", 244, coming into his 6th season, so he's a veteran. Tennessee, Joe Milton, but then they've got Nico Lamaleva, who's got the biggest NIL deal, I think, at $8 million.
Would y'all please stop talking about NIL deals? Stop talking about NIL deals. If he can't go out there and perform, he shouldn't be on the field.
Well, I agree.
How much money they gave that dude?
I agree.
I'm not saying you, but just people.
Yes.
NIL deals. Period.
Means nothing.
Means nothing.
That NIL deal means you just ain't got a free year because you sitting behind me, homeboy.
Hey, preach.
That's what I would be saying.
Like that.
You need to touch me with that. That's the way I would be
you
coming
give him
in.
maybe. So, well, here's the deal. I already know he got a large NIL deal. Once I'm starting, I got to come see you.
Yeah, come holler at me.
I need to get taken care of for this year. This is my last year. What we gonna do?
What we gonna do?
Right.
And so I heard you and Sid talking about it. About money and the NBA and the incentives, right? All-Star game and stuff like that. So if you give this man that amount of money and he don't beat me out, first of all, I'm not gonna let you beat me out.
That part.
That's period, point blank.
Right.
You can get all the money you want right now.
Right.
But you still got to see me when that ball snap. You got it's on.
Right.
Yeah.
And if I beat you out, now you got to hit your hip, player. What you gonna give me?
Yeah. What they got to come get. I think it wasn't. And plus, even though Tennessee had a quote unquote magical year.
Yes.
And they known for this. Like, again, I have friends that play for Tennessee that magically still work for Tennessee. And I always be throwing these little pettiness pot shots, Kenny, because you know what I'm saying. We the only university got a plethora of guys that used to play around here that aren't employed and involved. I'm swear. I'm gonna go off on it. Terry Fair, Jonas Jennings, Sean Bryson, Peerless Price, the Jamal Lewis, the one that which one?
Oh yeah,
my man Magic Al Wilson. That's what we used to call it.
Big Al.
Yeah, Big Head Al, right?
Big Head Al.
You're right. Even Ray Knock, Rhinoceros Thompson. That's what because he had a he had a long face. Well, anyways, so what happens with Tennessee had a magical year, but down there, if they come out and go like 7-5, oh, it ain't gonna be swinging. It ain't gonna be sweet Rocky Top. It ain't gonna be no Power T. They gonna get you up out of there. They gonna get him up out of there straight up, because Tennessee truly believes it shouldn't be Georgia. It should be them.
Yes.
Now that's not reality.
No,
but they have a short leash on whatchamacallit. And so that's why, this is something totally different. I know we got 2 minutes. Everybody was talking about whether Scott could go to Tennessee, Scott could go to Florida. See, I already knew he wanted. First of all, number one, I knew he wanted going to Florida. Okay, I knew that for a fact because Daryl Porter, who coaches at St. Thomas Aquinas, said he ain't allowed down here. So you ain't coming to Florida if that place right there, because you know who he coached, Patrick Surtain, and then Daryl Porter Jr. was at Miami. That's number one. And number two, if his agent shouldn't have let him guided him to Tennessee for the simple fact of how they will run you out of town quick. Had nothing to do with Scott. It's just about where you're at. And so for his Heupel, if you don't continue along the way of
trekking
each inching closer,
which
in Tennessee's mind, we got a better quarterback coming back than anybody in the whole SEC.
Yep.
So then, therefore, we should be thinking about national. They're thinking national champion,
and they got pieces around.
Right. They got receivers.
And
they got a good physical line. So that's where the pressure mounts. And when that pressure comes, them Rocky Top rednecks be coming, boy. Believe it.
They knocking.
Yeah.
Well, that sums it up. The old school, you can tell it's gonna be hot.
Let me get that check.
It's gonna be hot on old school.
You leaving that with?
I'm gonna let you get a couple pieces. I'm taking that out the door.
Boy, I tell you about.
But old school crew's gonna be here. I might hang around since it's Thursday. Kevin Meyer's gonna be in the building.
You jump in?
I'm gonna hang around.
Kevin coming? Usually
He's coming after the first segment.
Yeah. So the first segment we're gonna jump into. We're gonna continue along. We're just gonna talk about the Big Ten West.
Love it.
Who's good? Who's a threat? Because I said it yesterday. Okay, after you left, Kenny, we went through the schedule.
15,
and I'm not going to put you in there. I need them 8 wins, player.
So you see what's coming on. We about to run that.
I need them 8 wins.
We about to run that.
93.7
the ticket. We are on the block. We'll see you tomorrow. 2 to 4. Peace.
I need that, Kenny.
Hey guys, this is Lindsay Teal from Nebraska Golf Team. Imagine golfing the best courses in the world. St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, Southern Hills, the best of the best. You can play those courses and more without ever leaving the city of Lincoln at Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle has the city's best golf simulators, 5 high-quality bays that track ball speed, launch angle, club speed, spin rate, and more to give you the most accurate gameplay. Check it out for yourself year-round. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.